Karrigan, congrats. 1-2 at EPL now. Not the start you would have wanted, I'm sure. I mean, you arrived here and you ended up having to play with rain. So tell me how it's feeling after getting your first win after, not the best start to the tournament in terms of just how you arrived.
Yeah, obviously it's strange to be in the 0-2 when we only played one game, right? It is what it is. Under the circumstances, yesterday was very stressful. Obviously, Rain had planned to come earlier, but he missed his connection. Can't really rely on flights, right? So he came very late, right before the Freedom Max game. We did what we could. But today, with some good amount of sleep, no stress for the whole team, a normal rhythm coming into the game, and I think we performed really well today. And obviously, I'm very happy Rain was available to help us out.
I do want to just ask about the situation overall because, I mean, you came to EPL, you're obviously expecting to play with your new roster, but then couldn't end up fielding your actual lineup. Can you just tell me what went wrong there and what happened with that whole situation?
I mean, the whole situation is obviously short story. Obviously, things went wrong, but I can't really say more about that. We're here to play the game. This is the circumstances. Kind of reminds me of Katowice when we had JKS debating for Robs and then later on some different stuff. So it is day by day, trying to do our best. Here is to recover some VS points, making sure we don't drop down ranking. If we go far, we go far. If we don't go far, we have time to practice for our next event. But obviously, long season of changes for me. The past week I got used to new roles, new situation, new way of playing, and now we're back to kind of playing a lot on the fly, right? So a bit rough on the mental, but I mean, I think I've seen everything this year in my career.
I mean, as you kind of alluded to, you're no stranger to stand-in situations, with these last-minute things, and it's not like Rain is unfamiliar to you either. What was it like having him come in? Because, I mean, when he came in, you guys seemed like you were in a good mood. Everyone was joking around a little bit. I think Rain was talking about how, he was hungover when he got the call or something. Don't know if that was a joke or not, but, seemed like the mood was pretty good when he came in.
I mean, there's things you can control or things you can't control. For this as a team, this was a non-controllable situation. Was straightforward. Rain had to play. Decision had to be made. Who's playing, who's not. Thinking about what's most important right now. And yeah, there's only one way to look at it, is smiling at the situation, maybe make a little run out of it, but you can't be upset. It is what it is. I am happy though that this doesn't implicate the major. Could have been a lot more pressure or whatever, but in the end, you have to do what the best you have. These are the cards we have on our hands right now, and we will do everything we can to try to do our best here. But obviously, it will stop our progress for the new lineup. But we can do what we can to kind of like integrate Russ and get used to Russ in the lineup.
On that note, I feel like this whole situation has overshadowed Russ's return a little bit. Can you tell me what it's been like having him back on the server and having his voice back on the team?
It's been fantastic working with Russ. Obviously, he has grown as a player in game. He knows more what he wants. And for me, this is first time I have a secondary caller since Nico. In any teams I have played. That means a vocal voice I will listen to, a vocal voice that's not always in a group with me that I can rely on, that can come with adjustment during the game. So that's the balance we have to find, and he's really smart and he works really hard and he brings a lot of good energy as well. So that's what I think is the whole package we got with Russ. And we will see how it develops over time. Obviously, he knows what it is to be a leader. So I also want him to focus a little bit on himself and trust the macros to me and Philip and come with his input because we need Russ back in top form. And I think if he can become that, I think we have a full package in Russ. And I'm super happy to have him back, honestly.
It's interesting that you say it's the first time you've had a second caller since Nico. Do you mean then that Twistzz wasn't really that kind of role the first time he was in phase, and then it's something he's now developed into in that sense?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, maybe he had the potential to be in the 2022-2023 lineup, but there was there was vocal voice in the sense what people want to do individually around, right? You can say this team is slightly more quiet in some of these mid-rounds, so you have more time to control the round. In the old lineup, Robs had some move, Brokey had some mid-rounds he wanted to do, and then Russ had as well. But it is clear that with the situation and the roles we have given to Twistzz, he is becoming a more secondary caller to help adjust or see some things that he can provide to me during the game that I might not see, and it's very nice. And I think for me, the biggest change is the energy he brings in the team. I feel like me and Brokey was the main driving force behind energy in the team. I can now focus a little bit more on playing that keep the mood and energy high, and I think like I said, I think the full package is gonna help me focusing more on myself as well and be mentally ready for the rough games and not always have to be 100% on point for every category in the team, like energy, individual skill, calling. So it takes some load off my shoulders, and I'm just looking forward to see what it can bring the next few months.
It's something that's been talked about a lot this year with the vlogs and whatnot about you having some of that pressure on you and some of the, it's really built up over this time that you've had to do a lot of this. Having Russ come in and be able to fill some of that role, can you tell me what that's done in terms of alleviating some of that pressure for you and how it's changing the dynamic early on at least?
For me, I think with the situation is now, I really enjoy practicing. I think in the previous year, it has been obviously a lot of bad confidence, bad moods, bad energies, rough practice times, rough officials, changing obviously 40% of the lineup. Things are very different in the lineup than changing one player. So it is kind of like starting a little bit from scratch, because when you change one player, you kind of a little bit stuck in the way some players are used to playing and how we do things. But with Russ, we're having like a tornado of fresh air into the team, and the best thing about it, me and Russ sees many things eye to eye, and we can have a long conversation about how we want to do certain things, and we always come to a conclusion, and that's how we work towards a goal together as a team. So he is helping me a lot to relieve some of the pressure, to always be full energy, to always make people laugh, to all these things that's not only about the game. And obviously this year there has been a lot of pressure for me to fix the team environment. I haven't always been the best at that, but I think it's who is not in the team probably underestimate how much as a leader I had to go through this year, and obviously having the worst year of my career individually as well on top of that. Now I feel like I have more time to focus on things that can improve my game as well.
I also wanted to give you the chance to comment on this whole roster swap situation, because Rain came on and confirmed, and he said that you were being unfairly treated in the way that people were perceiving you to be behind a lot of these moves. So what was your part in it, and what's the, I guess, community reaction been from your end?
Yeah, obviously people think I run FaZe Clan. I mean, I have a voice. I think when I joined FaZe Clan back in 2021, there was some things in the contract that I wanted some control over the team. But that is 4 or 5 years ago. That was together with Robin. We created a scenario where we needed to be on the same point what's happened in the team. Over the past year and a half, I think since Twistzz left, I think the last really I enforced was Frozen joining the team, because I think that was the option we had. The last few changes we had, FaZe have asked me. But this one was the first one that didn't ask me. They basically came to say, this is happening. And I'm also happy about that, because during the Christmas break, when I had a lot of stuff going in my real life and Rob's leaving, I told FaZe I cannot be the guy that provide names and see who is fitting the team. It has to be the opposite way. Does this player work in your system? How would you use this player? And this change came a little bit out of nowhere. It was a rough one, but I also think they know how close I am to Rain, what he means to me as a player and as a person. So getting the news was one of the roughest one I had. So whatever people believe, but I am not running FaZe Clan. FaZe Clan asked for my opinion sometimes, but this one I wasn't really asked.
It seemed like there was some uncertainty about who Twistzz would come in and replace. Do you know if that was just based on timing for when the decision would be made, or did you have any input during that period? What happened in terms of, was it always going to be Rain, I guess?
I'm not quite sure, actually. I guess there could have been a scenario they also looked at me. One of their justifications, and as I understood it, was a younger core, right? They could have gone a different direction. As I know, I found out from Rain after that he also want to be an IGL or want to become an IGL at some point. So who knows if maybe there's some of the players, if they still believe in what I'm doing, if I'm working hard enough. One thing I will say that I've said to FaZe Clan, at the moment if anyone in the team doesn't believe in me, I would happily step down. I am working hard, I'm motivated. But the moment that some of the players feel like I'm not helping the team, then I have said FaZe, no hard feelings, I will step down. I'm not here to tank the FaZe Clan. But they're asking me if I want to play, and I give them months or deadlines to where we take next decision on how to play. Obviously, I'm not here to steal paychecks. I am actually here to try to help FaZe Clan, and if they have a different direction, I am happy to step down. But right now, I'm working hard to help this team coming back to a top level, and it's a rough year, but I'll do my best.
And as you said earlier, the matches here fortunately didn't affect your major outcome, but the invites are finalized, so you are going to end up being in Stage 1. Can you just tell me how you're feeling about that whole situation and going into the major in Stage 1?
It is obviously start from Stage 1 with best of ones with teams that have been fighting to get to the major, right? It's going to be rough, but in some way, maybe that's what we need. We need to get down in the mud. We need to tell the world and tell to ourselves we can beat these teams that are not directly Tier 1, but very close. Because right now we had issues beating the top 5 teams. So where are we as a team? I know we can play good. I know on good days we can beat the teams. But maybe let's get down in the mud and show the world that we're not that bad, but we are still working on consistency.